everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Cow. Today we are still in Members Month and we have this gorgeous design from Amy B, Keeping It Crafty with Amy B. Amy has given us this pattern. Amy is a member of our Facebook group, a member of Beyond the Cow, and all the details are in that description box below. The written pattern for this is in the Facebook group as well. Amy has given us this pattern, allowed us to use it and allowed us to video it as well. So thank you, Amy. Do go and check out Amy's other designs. She has other patterns and we do have another of her patterns coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for that too. But she's designed this wristlet carry-all called a wristlet because it has this cute ring and this loop. This is the strap or the handle, so you could carry it like this as a handle, or you can pop your hand through and carry it on your wrist and have a hands-free bag. How many times do you go shopping and you need to look at things, you need to pull them off the shelves, put them in your basket or your trolley, and your hands are carrying your bag, so you don't have hand-free, or you've got a child, you need to hold the child's hand, push the pram, and you've just too many things to hold. This, you can just pop it over your wrist and not have to worry. It's all contained there, you know it's safe on your wrist. So that is what it's for, and it's a really decent size. Now I say that, I don't have my tape measure to hand. Hopefully I will have measured it and there will be some measurements coming up on the screen anytime now. So we start off with a circular bottom. Some of us have quite a circular bottom. So we start off with a circular bottom and then we work up this beautiful C-stitch, known as some other stitch names as well. We work up this beautiful textured stitch. You can see that. Beautiful texture, and this would look great in a variegated yarn as well. So we do that, and as we're doing that we make some gaps along the side for threading these ties through. We make some popcorn bobbles on the end and then we thread it all through a button to pull and secure, and that pulled the bag in nicely. And then we use a ring and we do some stitching around here and then we attach it, and that is that. You can line it and you can also attach a snap fastener, which I'll talk to you about later on. So there are a few extra things you can do to what I've done, and that's that. That is our wonderful bag today. Beautiful, beautiful, and it's really simple to work up. It might look complicated, but actually it's very, very simple. And I did it in a day. You could do it in a couple of evenings quite easily, depending on your speed of crochet. Oh, and the last thing to tell you as well, we do a nice twisted single crochet to give us this really nice edging as well. So let me give you a very quick run through of what things you will need. You will need some worsted weight yarn, or in the UK we tend to call it Aran yarn, Aran weight, which is the next thickness up from DK or light worsted. Okay, so Aran thickness of yarn. If you use a thinner yarn such as DK or light worsted, you will just have a lighter weight, smaller bag. That's the only difference. It will just be a smaller bag. So feel free to use a lighter weight yarn if you wish. So you need some Aran or worsted weight yarn. Then to go with that, because of the weight of yarn, you need a 5mm hook. So I've got one with a handle here and one with out this added handle. And I kind of change whichever I use depending on how my hand feels. If I've been using one for a while, I'll change, and you'll see that I change about on the video. So you need that hook to go with your yarn. If you're using lighter weight yarn, just use the appropriate hook for that. Obviously you're going to need scissors because we do have to stop and cut and fasten off a few times. You will need some stitch markers. Now I'm trying to think how many, 2, 4, 5, I think I used about 6 altogether. So stitch markers, paper clips, safety pins, bits of yarn would do as well. You need those, and you'll need a needle that will take your thickness of yarn, and you need 2 buttons. 2 buttons for the ends. Now ideally would probably be an oblong button, a sort of toggle oblong button with 2 holes. Now I've got these very small green buttons here that have 2 holes. They were a bigger version of these actually, so if you can see that one there with 2 sort of slits really. They're a slightly smaller version of that, but that was the best I had today. I have to go shopping and get some better bigger buttons. Okay, and as for the yarn, you can use a plain colour, a variegated. You could change up your colour. You could have the strap in one colour. You could actually have the strap, the ties and ring all in one colour, and the bag in another. That would be pretty cool. Or the base in one colour and the body in another. You could change this up however you choose. It's up to you. And the final thing you need, which I have here, is rings. These are curtain pole rings. They look like wood, but they're actually plastic. But they look like wood, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get some buttons that match. So they come with this on the end, so I just unscrew that, and then when I'm crocheting over this, I just work over this little hole there, and then you have these nice wood effect rings. You can also get them from craft shops, Amazon, eBay. Just look for wooden rings, and these are 28mm diameter, so they're about 3 centimeters, 2 inches, so about that size, or maybe a little bigger. Mine is a little too small for this really, has to sort of bunch up, so you could go a bit bigger. So a ring, stitch markers and buttons are the other essentials really. That is it. So grab all those things and a drink, and let's get started. Okay, our pattern states to start with a magic ring. If you find the magic ring tricky, then you can of course do a chain 4, slip stitch to the first chain and make a ring that way. I'm going to do as the pattern states today and do a magic ring. You know, quite often I will go against a pattern and do my chain 4 ring, but today I'm going to stick with the pattern. So when you've got your ring, you want to chain 1, and once you've chained 1, we're going to do 10 double crochets into the circle. 10 double crochet. So you don't need to see me do double crochets. I will see you when I have 10 double crochets in my ring. Okay, once you have all 10 double crochets, pull your ring tight and slip stitch into the very first double crochet, not the chain 1 but the first double crochet. So just check that you've got the first one and not your chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and slip stitch into there, and that is your first round of your bag. Okay, round 2, we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 double crochet into every stitch. Okay, 2 double crochet into every stitch. The usual way for increasing a circle. Okay, so work around and do your 2 stitches in every stitch, and then you should end up with 20 double crochet. Okay, 20 double crochet, slip stitch into your first double crochet, not your chain one, but your first double crochet. And again, if you find that tricky to determine which is your first stitch and which is the chain, then just count back and then you'll know which one it is. Okay, but it's going to be the one with this particular, look for the post and then the top of the stitch. Okay, and then slip stitch into there. So now we have a circle of 20 double crochets. Okay, round 3. Okay, just popped my light on because it's getting a bit dull here. I think we're going to get a storm. Hopefully not, but never mind. We're going to move on with this bag and we're going to move on to round 3. And this time we're doing half double crochets. Okay, so we're going to chain 1 and then we're going to do 2 half double crochets in that same stitch. 2 half double crochets in that stitch, and then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 in the next, and 1 in the next. So you're doing 2 half double crochets and then 1, 2 and then 1, the same way that we would normally increase a circle. The only difference is that we're doing half double crochets instead of our usual double crochets. So 2 stitches and then 1 stitch, and you should have 30 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, and as before, we're going to slip stitch into our first stitch, ignoring that first chain. Slip stitch into your first stitch, and there we have 30 half double crochets. Okay, round 4. Round 4, we are going to chain 1 as before. Let me just get some more yarn. Okay, so we are going to chain 1 and then we're going to do 2 double crochets. So we're back to double crochets. So 2 double crochets in this first stitch. 1, 2, and then a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1 in there and 1 in the next, and then we're going to do 2 in the next. Double crochets, so 2 in 1 stitch and then 2 singles, sorry, 2 individual double crochets. Can't really say singles, can we? Or it sounds like I'm saying single crochets. So 2 in the same stitch and then 1 and another 1. Okay, complete this all the way around. 2 1 1, 2 1 1, and you should have 40 double crochet at the end of this round. Okie dokie, 40 double crochet. So slip stitch into your first stitch as before, and there we go, 40 double crochets, working up nicely. Okay, round 5, and we're going to continue increasing. So we are going to start with our chain 1, and we're doing double crochets this time. So 2 double crochet in this first stitch. 1, 2. And then we're going to do a double crochet in each of the next 3. So just like before, but we're doing 3 individual stitches. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so 2 double crochet, 1, 2, and then 1. Oops. When you get a tiny piece of yarn sticking, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and 50 double crochet at the end of this round. Okay, I've slip stitched to the top of my first double crochet, and there is my 5th round, 50 double crochet. Okay, so for round 6 we're going to do exactly what we've just done, but this time we're going to have 2 stitches and then 4 stitches. Okay, so chain 1 to start with, and then do 2 double crochet in your first stitch, and then do 4 individuals, 2 in one stitch, and then 4 individuals all the way around, just as before, and you will finish with 60 double crochets. Okay, so I'll come back to you when I've done my 60 double crochets. So 2 and then 4. Okay, there we go, 60 double crochets. Now you might find that your work is sort of cupping up a little bit, but don't worry about that at all. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so round 7, we're going to just change it slightly in where we put the increases for this round. We're not going to start with 2 double crochet this time. We're going to just start with our individual stitches. Okay, so chain 1, and then we're going to do 5. So we're still sticking with the same increase. We did 3, then 4, and now 5. So we're going to do 5 individual stitches first of all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do your 2 in one stitch. Okay, so 5 and then 2, and yes, I have changed hook. I've been doing a lot of crocheting recently, many hours, and I've been using these kind of hooks, which are great, but my hand kind of needs a change, just to give it a change of what to hold, a bit like wearing a different pair of shoes if you've worn the same shoes for a while. So if ever you find that your hand's getting a bit sore or a bit achy, then just change up your hook, same size, but just change the style that you're using from time to time. Okay, so anyway, 5 stitches and then 2 in one. Okay, and I will see you at the end of this round with 70 double crochets. Okie dokie, there is round 7, 70 double crochets. Okie doke. So round 8, we're going to go back to the original way of increasing. You're going to chain 1 and then do 2 double crochet in the same stitch, and then 6 individual stitches this time. 6, so 2 and then 6, 2 and then 6, all the way around. And as this is round 8, we are looking for 80 stitches. So 2 and then 6, 2 and then 6, all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round with 80 double crochet. Okay, there are my 80 double crochets. So we are on to round 9 now. Let me just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, round 9. We are going to make 90 double crochet, and we're going to go back to doing individuals first and then our 2 in one stitch. We've got this round and then round 10 of increasing, and then that's when we stop. Okay, so we're going to do 7 individual stitches. Okay, so chain 1 and then do your 7 individual stitches and then 2 in one stitch. So 7 and then 2, 7, 2, all the way around, and you'll have a 90 at the end of this round. There we go, 90 double crochets. You can see it's cupping up quite a bit now, which is absolutely fine. So we have our last round of increasing. So we are going to start with our 2 double crochets this time. So 2 in the first stitch. Remember to chain 1 first, and then 2 in the first stitch, and then 8 individuals, 2 and then 8, and you will have 100 double crochet at the end. So 2 and then 8, 2 and then 8. see you in a moment. Okay, there we go, 100 double crochets. So this will be the base of your bag. Will be the other way around, but this will be the base of your bag. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull a loop up here. We don't want to fasten off, and I'm going to sew my tail in here in the middle, just because I made it quite long so that I could sew it in really securely, and it keeps getting in the way. So I'm going to sew that in and deal with that now. I've turned it over so that it is on the wrong side, because this will be the inside of your bag. So I'm going to sew that in now. If you've used the magic ring, just make sure you secure it really well, because if you've not used the magic ring much before, if I do this, look, just a little bit of a movement on it and it does come open quite well. So just make sure that you sort of secure it really well. Go through a couple of stitches, make a knot, go through a couple more, make a knot, and then secure this really well. I'm going to go sort of around and up and around this way. Okay, so I'm going to go one direction, and then I'm going to go another direction, and then back, to make sure it's really secure, because this will be the bottom of the bag. Okay, so I would suggest that you maybe deal with that now, and there will be one less thing to deal with later, and then we will get on to the next part of the bag. Okay, I have sewn that middle tail in and finished with that, so it's all nice and neat there. Now, I apologise for the lighting as well. I've had to pull my curtain across and it's red. I said I thought it was stormy. It's a bit variable, and I've had to pull the curtain across. It's red, so it's kind of creating this pink hue, if you can see this kind of pink tinge. So I do apologise for the change in lighting, but hopefully all will be well. Let's continue with our bag. So we've finished our increase, and we're now going to start working up the sides of the bag. So what we want to do is we're going to be working around these stitches as usual, but what you might want to do is just turn it upside down like so, turn it the other way up, so you've got, this is the wrong side, and then turn these edges up, okay, so that it cups the other way. And then we're going to work around these stitches here, like so. We'll be working around, so your right side is here, okay? So we are going to do single crochets for this round. Just move the camera. Okay, single crochets for this round. What we're going to do is chain one to start with. And then we're going to do a single crochet in the back loop of each stitch around, okay? So this one, from where we slip stitched, kind of is showing the back loop anyway. So I'm going to do a single crochet in there, and then back loop. So remember, you've got these two strands here, and you want to go over the top of the first one and then under that back one and make a single crochet. Okay, so back loop, single crochet all the way around, and then slip stitch to your first single crochet, and you will have 100 back loop single crochets, and you'll have a line here showing the front loops that you didn't work into. So one single crochet in every back loop. Here we go. Let me just pull that loop up. Here we go. Done my 100 single crochets in the back loop only, so we get this beautiful line of the front loops left, and this will create a nice edge for the base. So that will be where your sides start to come up. So if I turn it this way so you can see it, this is where your side will start to come up, and this front loop here creates a nice edge for your base. That's how I make my baskets as well. If you've seen the basket tutorial that we had this month, the mini marbled baskets creates a nice edge. So get back to the beginning here. Here we go. So we are now going to do a single crochet and then a double crochet. in alternate stitches. This is also known as the seed stitch, and I believe it's got a couple of other names as well. I can't remember what they're called. There are quite a few names for this stitch. It gives a beautiful texture, and if you've got a variegated yarn, it will look absolutely gorgeous, but it looks gorgeous in one colour too. This was the only yarn of this weight that I had to use, so I had to go with the cream or beige, whichever it's called, cream, beige, natural. Anyway, let's get started with this. So chain 1 as always, and then we're going to do a single crochet in this same stitch. Now we're not doing back loop or front loop anymore, we're just going to go into that same stitch. Okay, now let's get back to this pattern. Okay, just to make sure I'm on the right track. So we are going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, okay, under both loops. This is all just under the whole stitch this time. We finished with our back loop. So single and then a double, and then in the next stitch a single and then a double. So we're just alternating single, double, single, double, and that is all we're doing this round. So I'll show you a few more. So single crochet and then a double crochet, single crochet and then a double crochet. As simple as that. Single and then a double all the way around, and again this will be 100 stitches. Every round so far is 100 stitches. Okay, so keep going with a single and then a double, and I will see you at the end of this round. Here we go at the end of round 12. Now the texture of this seed stitch is not very easy to see at the moment because we've only got one row of it, but you will see the texture starting from the next row. Okay, now what you're going to do is continue doing the same pattern for the next 15 rows. You're going to do rounds 13 to 27. So 15 rounds, you're going to do exactly the same thing. Okay, exactly the same thing. So I'm going to show you what that is, and then you might want to get a pen and paper so you can mark down how many rows you're doing, or you might want to use, if you've got a row counter, stitch counter, or you might want to get out some stitch markers, like take 15 stitch markers out, have a pile of 15 stitch markers, or little pieces of yarn, and then every time you finish a row, pop one onto a second pile, and then second row, third row, and then you'll see when you've got just one row left. I've done that way before. Pen and paper, whatever works for you. 15 rounds of what we're about to do. So actually I'm going to show you this round, and then you'll have this round plus 14. Okay, so this next round plus 14. Okay, so, or if you want to say it this way, this is round 13 and you want to work up to do row 27. Okay, so let me show you what we're going to do for this round. Okay, now just to say, I'm not sure if I actually said I did a slip stitch into my first single crochet at the end of that last round. Okay, so what we're going to do is chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work around, and now we've got the wrong side facing us. Okay, so we're going to do a single crochet in the first stitch along, which happens to be that last double crochet we made. So if I turn it round, you'll see we worked along here and we did a double crochet to finish. Okay, so we're going to do a single crochet in that first double crochet. Okay, so we chained 1 and then we're doing a single crochet in that double, and then we're going to continue doing single and then double just as we did before. And this time the single crochet has gone into the double, and now the double crochet will be going into the single crochet, and then it will be a single crochet, and that will be into the double. It's not always obvious whether it's a single crochet or a double crochet, but basically the single crochets are a bit further down and the double crochets are a little bit sort of bunched up. Okay, but just if you continue alternating, then you will be on the right path. So then it will be a double crochet, and then a single crochet, and then a double, and then a single, all the way around. Okay, and you'll finish with a double crochet just as before. So you'll always start with a single crochet and you'll always finish with a double crochet, and then you will turn your work around. So I've done a single and now I'm going to do a double. Okay, and I'll see you at the end of this round just to get you started on the next round. Okay, so this is round 13. I will see you at the end of round 13 just to finish off and get you on the right path for row 14, and then I'll leave you to your own devices. Okay, here we go at the end of the round. So going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, not the chain, make sure it's the single crochet. Okay, so that's the end of round 13. We're on the wrong side, so then what we're going to do is chain 1, turn your work around, and this time you've got the right side facing you. Okay, so this is row 14. Okay, so even rows you'll have the right side and odd rows will be the wrong side. So I'll get you started on this row 14, and you'll be doing this row, and including this row you'll be doing 14 rows now. So I did say 15, but we've done that round already. So this is row 14. So we are going to single crochet again to start with. Remember, we start with a single crochet and we finish with a double. So we're going to do a single crochet in our first double crochet, which is this first stitch here. Okay, so single crochet in there, and then straight on to doing a double. And that is as easy as it is. Okay, so every row, slip stitch at the end of every row, slip stitch to your first single crochet, chain 1, turn your work around, start with a single crochet in that first stitch, which is the double, and then do a double, and then continue your alternate single double, finishing with a double crochet and then slip stitch. Okay, so you're going to do that for 14 rounds. So this round, row 14 up to row 27, including row 27, 14 rows. Okay, 14 rows. So the last row is an odd row, so you'll finish, your last row will be with the wrong side facing you. Okay, so I will see you after another 14 rows. I may give you some progress pictures as I go along, or I may just appear with my 14 rows done, but I will see you soon. Okay, here we are at the end of round 27. You can see all the sides been made, and there we go. I think I've got it on the right side. I have. So there we go. And how gorgeous is this texture? This seed stitch texture is gorgeous. So lovely, lovely. So you can see how your bag is shaping up now. We are going to do a little bit more on this side. We're going to make some holes for the drawstring to go through, and then do a final couple of rounds. So let's get started on that. So from where you were on your final round, you would have been working on the wrong side. So from there, chain 1 and turn your work around. And this is the round that you will want your stitch markers or something, stitch markers, safety pins, whatever you've got to hand. So chain 1 and turn your work, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the first double crochet, just as usual. And once you've done that, pop a stitch marker in that first chain 1 space. Okay, pop that in that chain space, just so that we can find that space later on. Okay, and then we are going to do a double crochet and then a single crochet. We're going to do that 7 times. Okay, so we'll do this together. So double crochet, single crochet, 1, double, single, 2, double, single, 3, double, single, 4, double, single, 5, double, single, 6. So one more time, double and single. And then we are going to sort my yarn out. Excuse me. So then we are going to repeat for 10 times. We are going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and then single crochet in a double. Okay, so chain 1, skip a stitch, and then single crochet in a double. So that's 1, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. It's 2, chain, skip, single, 3, chain, skip, single, 4, chain, skip, single, 5, chain, skip, single, 6, chain, skip, single, 7, chain, skip, single, 8, chain, skip, single, 9, and the last one, chain, skip, and single. And that's 10. I'm just going to make sure that we have actually got 10 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 gaps, perfect. 10 single crochets. Okay, so now we're going to do some more double crochets and single crochets. Okay, so we're going to do 15 of these. So double crochet in the next stitch and then a single crochet. So that's 1. Okay, double crochet, single crochet, 2, double, single, 3, double, single, 4, double, single, 5. So do that 10 more times. Okay, double, single, 1, double, single, 2, double, single, 3, 10 more times. Okay, so we've now got those 15 sets of double and single. Excuse me. So now we're going to do some more of our chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. Okay, so we're going to do chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. That's 1, chain, skip, single crochet, 2, chain, skip, single crochet, 3, chain, skip, single crochet, 4, chain, skip, single crochet, 5, chain, skip, single crochet, 6, chain, skip, single crochet, 7, chain, skip, single crochet, 8, chain, skip, single crochet, 9, chain, skip, single crochet, 10, chain, skip, single crochet, 11. Excuse me, 11 times. Okay, and then we're going to do 6 more times a double crochet and then a single crochet. Okay, double and then single. And this will take us all the way to the end with 1 stitch left, and that last stitch will be a double crochet. So just continuing along. So single, and then the final double crochet. There we go. And then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, which is the other side of this chain that we've marked. So I'm going to slip stitch to that first single crochet, and that is the end of round 28. Okay, I made a slight boo-boo when I told you to pop the stitch marker on this chain here at the start. It actually is the first and last chain of these chain spaces on the side, so I apologise for that. So you need to look back and find find your chain spaces. Now don't get mistaken with any gaps that are in between your stitches. Find that first actual chain space, okay, and then pop a stitch marker in there, and this is just so that you can find it more easily next time. Now we are going to be working into this space, so I suggest that you make the mark just below. Okay, pop the marker just below so that you know that space is there, because you will want to get into this on the next round. Okay, and then find the last one, and that last space. If you can't find it, then just count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's the last one. So again, I'm going to pop this just underneath because we will need to get into that space on the next round, and then turn it the other side. And again, oh, excuse me, must be time for a drink. So find the space on the other side, and remember this side there are 11 spaces. This gives us the right stitch count. So find that last space. I'm really sorry that I didn't tell you this as we were going round last time. I just misread the pattern there. So anyway, there we go. So we've got the start and finish on that side and the start and finish on this side. Perfect. Let's move on to the next round. Okay, moving on to the next round, we are going to do exactly what we've been doing down here with our seed stitch of a single crochet and then a double crochet. And we're going to first of all chain 1, turn your work around so you're working from the wrong side this time, and you're going to start with a single crochet in that first double crochet, just as you have always done. And we're going to keep a stitch count of 100 if you are counting your stitches as you go, just to keep a check on that. So you're going to continue with doing then a double crochet, and then you're going to do a single crochet in the next, continue around, and this chain space, well, these chain spaces, you're going to count those as a stitch, because when we did those, we skipped a stitch below. So when you come to those, make sure you do a stitch in that chain space or over that chain. Okay, count every chain space as a stitch, and again over this side count every space as a stitch, and you'll be fine. So continue this round, and then you're going to do 4 rounds in total this round, and 3 more rounds in exactly the same way as you did these rows here. Okay, so 4 rounds of single and then double and slip stitching into your first single crochet, chain 1 and turn your work. Okay, 4 rounds. Make sure you count every chain space as a stitch. Okay, so here we go at the end of round 32. We've got all of our side done, and we've got our base down here, this circle, and we've got that nice those nice back loop stitches giving us a nice edge there, and then we've got these chain spaces for when we put our drawstring through. Okay, so we're just going to do the final edging of the sides here now, just the top edge. So we're going to do some twisted single crochets. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Just get some more yarn. Always deceiving how much yarn you actually need, isn't it? So we're going to do a twisted single crochet in the first 4 stitches in the front loop only. So remember when we did down here, we did back loop only. This time we're going to use just the front loop. Okay, just the front loop there, not the back but the front. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, turn your work around so you're working from the wrong side. Let's do that. Okay, so we've got the wrong side, or the inside of the bag facing us, and then we're going to do, so the front loop now is exactly the same, but it's the one closest to you. Okay, so front loop. Okay, so to do a twisted single crochet, pop your hook in the stitch, in this case just under the front loop, yarn over and pull through, and now before you do your last yarn over and pull through, you're going to twist your hook a whole 360 degrees, so a whole circle. You can do this a couple of ways. You can literally hold your hook and twist round like so, back into position like so, and then yarn over and pull through. Okay, and then we'll go into the next one and I'll show you on the next one, just using that front loop, this one here, yarn over, pull through. And this way, instead of just holding it and twisting like so, you can twist your hook, hold on to these loops and twist your hook around like so. So you're kind of twisting your hand and then yarn over and pull through. Okay, so that's 2. Go into the third one with just the front loop, yarn over, pull through. And then again, I'm just going to twist this around and then yarn over and pull through. Those 2 loops can sometimes be a bit tricky depending on how tightly you've twisted. Okay, and then again in the 4th front loop, yarn over, pull through, and again you can do it this way instead, just twisting your hook round like so, yarn over, pull through. And it gives you a kind of rope effect. If you know the crab stitch, it gives you a kind of crab stitch look. Okay, so we've done 4 in the front loop only, and now we're going to do 1 in each stitch in the whole stitch, so under both loops this time, both loops, yarn over, pull through, and then twist your hook to twist those loops and yarn over, pull through. Okay, and you're going to do this all the way around until the last 4 stitches, and the last 4 stitches you're going to do just as the first 4 you're going to do in the back, in the front loops only. So what you might want to do is grab another stitch marker, or a safety pin or something. And then just now count from your last stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop that on that 4th stitch, so you know once you get to there you've got to go back into just the front loop only. Okay, so work these twisted stitches all the way around your bag, giving this nice kind of rope effect top edge. Now if you find this a bit tricky and you've ever done crab stitch, then feel free to change and do crab stitch instead. It gives a very similar look. You just go in the opposite direction. Okay, so have a go with this. This way is quicker than twisting your whole hook, but remember you can twist your whole hook round and then pull through. Okay, and it's easier if you make it a little looser than usual. Makes it go through the hook, through those loops just a little easier. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to continue this, and you can see sometimes it doesn't want to go through. You just make those loops a little bigger and it will make it easier. So I will see you in a moment when I've finished this round. Okay, once you finish this top edge, pull your loop through. You want to pull quite a nice long tail and then snip that off, and then pull this through that last stitch. And then what we're going to do is join these 2 stitches, the first and the last. We're going to join them together using a needle. Okay, so just thread your needle, and then you want to go under this first stitch. Okay, go under this first stitch, pull that loop through until the 2 stitches join. Okay, and then bring the needle back under the last stitch that you did. Okay, and those 2 stitches join, and then make sure you've got the inside of your bag. Make sure you've got the inside of your bag, and then just secure this stitch. Make sure that's nice and secure, and then just weave your end in. Okay, so you can weave your end in a moment. Just going to secure that needle through there and just show you this edge. Okay, so this is from the inside. This is what we've done. You can see this nice rope edging, and then if I turn it the right way, you can see how it looks from this side. Lovely rope edging to finish. Pretty. The camera picked that up. There we go. Lovely. Okay, so from the right side it looks very much in keeping with the seed stitch, but gives a nice finish. Okay, so we are going to weave this end in, forgetting what I'm doing now. Weave this end in, and then we will start on the next part. Just to say, before you weave that end in, this stitch marker or whatever you use to mark these back, these 4 stitches here, well, we've got 8 stitches altogether, just mark that stitch where you finish, just so you don't lose it if you sew in your work so well that it all becomes invisible and you can't find where you started and finished the round. Okay, so just mark that stitch there.